Hello everybody. Okay, so today we are going to be going over how to create a 1 month of social media content in one day. And I'll put a link to a freebie I created that people are really loving, which is kind of a CANVA social media template that you can use to plan out all of your posts. It has blogging ideas. It has all sorts of stuff. And people have really been having fun with it because I know that piece, that actual putting it all together to create the post is the missing link for a lot of marketing that is not happening. And also as a reminder, the Pinterest class starts April 8th. It's $100, which is a really good deal because I will be available for 2 weeks to answer any questions that you have personally. So if you're struggling, you just shoot me a DM, we'll chat about it. All the students in there, I'm open to helping for the whole 2 weeks. And then I'll be popping in there live on April 16th to cover any struggles that people are having, general Q&A, things like that. So, okay, the first thing we are going to talk about is choosing kind of what you're going to be talking about. And the main word for these is really like content pillars. And I think that kind of gets lost in the mix. It becomes just sort of like a jargony thing that people are talking about. So my advice would be to choose 3 content pillars. Examples of content pillars would be behind the scenes, client stories, tips, education, personal stories, sales, and promotions. And that just makes it easier for you if you're following for example, a content pillar pattern that you are consistently showing up and the piece that really needs to get in there is the sales and promotion piece because that's the piece that's missing. And it's really interesting because I heard another podcast and they were talking about how photographers are they're overutilizing their sales and promotions. And I would say from the vast majority of family photography brands that I take a look at, that is not what I see. If you are sharing your openings to your stories consistently, those people that's not hurting you. In my opinion, that's not hurting you. Of course, I want to see your face and more about you as an artist, but I would say that a lot of family photographers especially have gone very quiet when it comes to promotion. So if you are following a content pillar pattern, for example, what that could look like. Oh, I feel a sneeze. Okay, sorry. I'll edit out the sneeze so I don't blast your eardrums apart. All right, so if you did like behind the scenes, client stories, sales, and promotions, if you just did those 3 and you cycled through them, you'd be hitting a lot of different interest points for someone coming into your brand, depending on where they're coming into your brand. And if you go back to that idea of all the types of people that we're trying to serve, the people that discover your brand and book right away, which are a rarity, the people who discover your brand, it takes them 2 years to book, which are a rarity, and the normal person, who discovers your brand and it takes them quite a while, like a chunk of time, maybe a few weeks or months to build trust before they book. Then if you are doing these content pillars in a habitual method, then you're hitting those people, all those different types of people. So then you're going to plan out your posting schedule. So let's just use Instagram as a jumping off point. I don't want you to do, if you listen to this podcast, you know that I don't want you to do all of your marketing on Instagram, but I have yet to find in all my work with marketing mentorship, a photographer who doesn't have Instagram as their main jumping off point, except for the rare person who is very focused on an email list, but that's a very rare person. So if you think about frequency, 3 to 4 posts equals 12 to 16 posts per month. 3 to 4 a week, 12 to 16 a month. My guess would be that that's way more than the vast majority of family photographers are creating. And if you take the idea of 12 to 16 Instagram posts that then become other pieces of content as well, because you have added in those sort of back-end processes to do that, then you are staying top of mind. And through all my research, what I've decided is that right now in this climate of world living, we need to be top of mind. Like that is just one of the very best things that you can do. So shove your fear into the well in your backyard and show up, because if you want to make this work, and I don't want to sound like alarmist, but I do feel, and I'll be honest about this because I feel like no one else is being honest about this. This is going to be hard. This is going to be a hard year. So that's just the truth. And if you want to do this work, then that's kind of one of the things it's going to take, unless you have some other extremely engaging marketing strategy. And if you do and it's working, then that's fine. Lean into that. But if you don't and you're not sure what to do, then my advice would be to come up with a system like this. Okay, then you're going to brainstorm and outline those 12 to 16 post ideas. Here's the trick. You want to give yourself a very clear time limit on this, or otherwise you could do this until 2026. You could be like, hold on, I'm still outlining my 16 post ideas. Everything is silent and changed now, but no, don't do that. That is your brain trying to protect you. Instead, give yourself a chunk of time. Put your head down, get to work. When the timer goes off, whatever you've done, get up, go outside, relax your brain, relax your thought process, relax your body. And then if you need to come back, you can do it at another time. So for storytelling posts, that would be client experience, session highlights, educational posts. We've talked about those a million times. What to wear, session preps, engagement. You could do polls, you could do personal shares, you could do questions, sales and booking reminders. That's keeping people updated on what you're actually booking and what your availability is to those. The hack here is that if you're really stuck with what to do, go back at your past content and take a look at what performed well last spring and just reutilize it. No one is going to remember. I promise you that no one is going to remember ever. If they do, they're like some sort of super fan. So congratulations, you super converted them into liking you so much that they remember a post you did a year ago. The vast majority of other normal humans, they will not remember. So lean on the data and repost what performed well. Sorry, that was super loud sounds coming from my living room. All right, the next thing you're going to do is batch your visuals. So I talk a lot about one of the main things that stops people is the lack of organization. So as I'm going through Instagram, if you are in an overall mindset of being a creator instead of a consumer, that is where when I get in that mindset, that's when I start really getting ideas and saving good audios and taking a peek at trends. Do we want to chase trends? No, but we are chasing visibility. So if you're somebody who has the bandwidth and ability to tap into a few trending type things that work well with family photography, I'm not going to come over and slap you for doing that. You can do that. And finding things that motivate or push your creativity can often look like, oh my gosh, I love that song. I would love to make a reel featuring this family. Lean into those feelings. Like, it's okay to make marketing feel creative to you because you are a creative person if you're a photographer, and that's going to make marketing seem more fun. So from what I've seen, I would definitely lean on reels and carousels. Static posts are just, oh my gosh, Rooney is trying to break down my sliding door, my little pocket door to get into this office. Okay, so I just wouldn't put any effort into static posts. First of all, it doesn't create a very good jumping off point because one image, unless you're pinning it, you can't like create a blog post from it, and you can't really do much else with it beyond it just sitting on your Instagram. If you create a carousel, that can become a blog post, that can go onto Pinterest, that can become a reel, that can become a YouTube video. There's a ton of things that can become. Same thing for reels. It can be broken down the other way. Anything that you use in a reel can be a carousel and vice versa. So I would just, for the rest of 2025, don't put any effort towards just the static posts. The most static posts that I see that kind of go quote unquote viral are very beautiful photography, and the only people that are really consuming that are other photographers, which may not help you actually get booked. The goal is taking this content you're doing and trying to get it in front of local eyes. All right, then you're going to sit down and write down all your captions. So once you have all of your visuals that you're going to use, and again, like we talked about, our organization of having spring, summer, fall, and winter marketing folders right on our desktop, then you can open up your notes app or whatever it is that you like to write, or you can even use Otter, which is a transcription service if you just want to bloppity bloopity blop and just get it all out there. There's tons of AI tools that you can use to get the words that are in your brain and your mouth onto the computer so that you can copy and paste them, as opposed to typing them out with your little tippy tappy fingers every single time. Okay, then if you want to be a super planner, you could just go in and schedule those 16 posts in advance, and then it's done. So there's a lot of people who are hesitant to this method, and I totally understand it because I'm kind of a fly by the night type of marketing lady. Like, I like to just see what feels good, test the waters, and go from there. So I totally understand if that is how you are as well. But if you're somebody who you have an hour and you want to just get all, you've collected the images, you know what you're going to do, you have the captions already written out, and you just want to blast all 16 of them into the planning tool so that they're ready, then do it. That's not going to be bad. The thing you can't do then, unless you have a secondary situation where on Tuesday, you know, your carousel is going live, and then you're going to publish your blog post on the same day, and then you're going to make sure you pin it. The thing that can happen there is all of the repurposing of the content can get lost in the weeds if it's scheduled. So that's the piece that you have to make sure that you take into account. You can't just set it and forget it, because there's just not enough native engagement going on Instagram for that to happen and for it to actually produce. So really quickly, I'm going to talk about where my last 4 clients came from, because I find that that's always really interesting, and I love to hear that from other people as well. So I had one come through on a group. They had asked about a maternity session, and I had posted, and even though every single person who responded to that on, like, it was like a mom's group or I can't remember exactly what group it was, but I think it might have just been my town group. They had responded, and majority of them I went and looked were cheaper than me, but I had sent my actual maternity page, and that person ended up booking with me. I had a newborn, another last minute newborn. The last minute newborns are just flying in. It's very interesting. And I think that says a lot about consumer behavior. And then I had a senior session book from a post that I had done on my Facebook page. Actually, that senior session booked because I tried to do this has never happened to me. I tried to do a little giveaway for seniors, and granted, I do not have a big senior audience at all. I got 0 interest. Like, it's like 7 people saw the post. You know, when your post just hits the depths of Instagram hell, I don't even know how that really happens, but literally, I don't know if you can see Rooney, if you can hear Rooney, she's literally trying to mine her way through this door to get in here. Okay, so anyway, it was just funny because I was like, wow, not even a single response. But then somebody saw the giveaway post and they just booked a regular session. So I was like, oh, well, I mean, that was a good outcome for that, but super weird. So that gives you insight too. Like, if you never in my life, even if I was giving away a freaking shoe in any past attention economy, somebody would have been like, you know what, I'll take the shoe. And to be like, I'm giving away a whole ass senior session, and people are like, you know what, how about no? It just gives insight into what's going on. So that's how another one came in. And then I had this was super exciting for me. I had a headshot client. And so when I asked them how they found me, they said they found me on Google. They typed in my town and headshots, and they said I was one of the first one that came up, which is very exciting because I've been working on my SEO for that particular part of my brand. So I hope that gives you guys a little bit of insight and thinking about how, because I know that so many of you, and you tell me this and I see it, are marketing in your heads and nothing else really getting down on paper or out into Instagram or out on your blog or out into the world. And if you have the bandwidth, if you have the mental capacity, I'm trying to get better at saying that word, now is the time to show up a lot. You are competing, like I said, with so many different things, and staying top of mind really, really helps. And for my marketing mentor students, when I notice that they feel a ton of resistance at first to consistency, and then once they get in the groove, they start having these wins, like online bookings coming through and people snatching things up finally, and it starts to click. And it's not because suddenly their work got better or because they figured out how to use their presets the right way, or they finally got that dress for their client closet. It's that they were consistent. And so I wish so badly I could show all of you what that future would look like if you marketed that way, but I can't. You just have to trust me that that is the way. Okay, a couple more reminders from me. Small group mentoring in April and May. That's only $375. It's 3 weeks of mentoring. We meet once a week for 3 weeks, and we go over just 3 different marketing fundamentals with the idea to get you set up to receive potential clients, convert potential clients, and then create a marketing strategy. So I have groups for April, May, and June. So if you want to join one of those, I would love to have you. They're all virtual. If you want to come to the studio, I'm doing also $375 for 2 hours of marketing intensive, followed by 10 headshots, and then also the one-off courses. So the next one coming up is Pinterest on April 8th is when the doors open for that. Okay, hope you guys have a good week.